Hi, my name is Senator Robert Singer from the 30th Legislative District. I want to urge you this June to please come out in the primary and vote for our friend Steve Langer, who's running for re-election. Steve has done an outstanding job as Township Committee, Deputy Mayor, and Mayor, and we need him back there to serve another term. Thank you very much.
I very much appreciate the Commissioner coming to Lakewood, taking his time, engaging with Lakewood. It's just not a mere visit. And I want to welcome also Mike Azara and introduce him to the Lakewood community. He was appointed by the Commissioner in order to help us and bring some expertise that Mr. Azara, with all his many years of service to the department, brings with him, and we're looking towards an atmosphere of partnership. And I think we've been dealing with each other for the last 2 weeks as a whole board, and the Commissioner mentioned before, he has never seen a board as engaging with the monitor, because usually the boards have an attitude of pushing back against the monitor. So we're looking to work with the monitor. We're also looking to work as a community and bring any changes that will come through the community, through a dialogue, not impose. I think that's something that the Commissioner mentioned, which is important to everyone here, that people are concerned within, have kind of anxiety in Lakewood in terms of what are the changes that are being imposed on Lakewood. The message is that we're going to have a dialogue, everybody will be heard, and hopefully through that dialogue we can cut something that everyone accepts. And I think I'm very much appreciative in the approach that the Commission is taking.
Mr. Latkin, I want to thank you very much on behalf of Lakewood Township, as the Mayor of Lakewood Township. What you've done is amazing. Pulling it together, I'm very excited the fact that you're the President of the Board this year. Obviously, from municipal government, we don't get involved in the Board of Ed, but that being said, obviously, everything flows to the top. And I certainly get all the pressure, so I appreciate, on behalf of myself, and I know the private schools and the public schools, everyone getting together, we appreciate you taking the initiative to pull this together, and especially for the Commissioner for taking from this busy schedule to come out today to be here with us. Much appreciated.
It's a pleasure, and I have a couple of comments and then maybe kind of a broader conversation about some of those, but maybe a quick round of introduction here, just so I can start learning some of the names and faces. So let me take us back around 4 weeks. We met in the department with the board leadership and the administration, and I think I had a very a tight message, and that tight message is, we've got a very short-term budget issue that we need to work through, and my line is that the district cannot have a cash flow deficit. People need checks. They need to be paid, and they need to live. And so the monitor was going to work on that. But I also indicated that what's driving the budget problems are these very difficult situation that has developed over a long period of time. This is not just the last year or even 5 years, and that we have to look at this in a short-term and a long-term process. And in my mind, the short-term process is getting through this current school year without a cash flow issue and putting together a responsible budget for FY15. But we've got these longer-term issues that need to be resolved, and I think in order for us to even have a shot at coming up with some acceptable solutions, and acceptable in my mind is that the community has input, the community has dialogue, and the community doesn't have to agree to every single thing that's being done, but at least they need to accept that what we're doing, they understand what we're doing, and have had some very important and meaningful abilities to shape what we're doing. That's that input and the dialogue. And so that's the long-term process. And what I'm recommending is that the Board of Education and the superintendent start engaging the community right away in terms of developing a strategic plan that sets out what's your most important goals in this district. And then that way we can start working on how to accomplish those goals. And you're going to have to wrap folks into this other than the Board of Education and the superintendent in the state of New Jersey. Certainly the township has a very important role to play in shaping a vision for educating all of the children of this district. And I mean all of the children within Lakewood have to be a part of our strategic planning process. But what are the priorities for that strategic plan? And then to the extent we need expertise from the state level, we're more than happy to bring that. If we have governance issues in terms of cooperation and establishing a single vision, then we can be helpful regarding that. If there are transportation issues that derive from health and safety, I think those are things we can also be helpful on. But I think the first step is trying to engage the community broadly in a conversation regarding what are our priorities. And we can then start building a budget and a facilities plan that revolves around those priorities. And so I think if you look at why we're here in a short term and a long term, I think maybe it starts becoming a little clearer that we are here to be helpful. We understand that these issues are so complicated and so unique that identifying unintended consequences becomes very important. And so we're certainly not here to say we have the answers to your problems, just do what we say and everything will be all right. Matter of fact, I'm definitely not saying that. But I am saying that I think there are ways we could develop a process that has that outcome at its central point. And if anything, I think we need to get the right people in the right room, work on things like solidarity, work on things like commitment over time. Anyone who thinks that it's a year process is fooling themselves. I think we're talking about a 5, a 6, a 7, 8, maybe even a 10-year process of getting everyone where they want to be. But certainly educational quality is not where we want it to be in Lakewood, but there's a lot of reasons for that, by the way. And I don't want this process to be a finger-pointing exercise. I want this process to actually result in some degree of solidarity around goals. It's good for everyone. Having strong public schools is good for everyone. Having safe transportation for private school students is good for everyone. And having good educational opportunities for students with disabilities, that's good for everyone in the district. And I think those are goals we can all agree to, and things should be in a strategic plan. But right now, we need to have that process, so where everyone's involved, and certainly the township might have a role, other people might have a role, the county might have a role, the county vocational school might have a role, the county college might have a role, Department of Community Affairs might have a role, Department of Transportation might have a role, but we need to start a process before we can start figuring out who needs to be at that table. And as we move past the short-term budget issues, I don't want to lose any momentum in working on that longer-term process. And I urge everyone around this table to think through what that might mean in your community. Even though I lived here for 7 years, it was many, many years ago. I had hair, I was 50 pounds lighter, so it was a long, long time ago. But I still love, thank you. I lived in Lakewood, actually right over at the High Point condominiums. Back a long, long time ago. And so I do love the town. There's everything in this town you could possibly want.
How long did it take you from High Point to the post office? How long did it take you in those years?
How long it was a lot different back then, I can tell you.
So you did it in 2 minutes.
But you could
Now
do it.
you need 20 minutes.
Yeah, you could actually even cross over at that railroad crossing. The freight trains would go so slow, but a lot different back then. And no, I remember coming to a meeting and was passing through Lakewood, maybe 5, 6 months ago, and I was saying to everyone, all right, it's only 10 minutes from here to there. Like 30 minutes later, I finally got there. It is, and so I get the traffic issues very clearly. By the way, I get those traffic issues, and even back when I lived here, Route 9 was a treacherous highway.